And good local time, Islanders. Welcome back to another Pharaoh Builds tutorial. So it's been a hot minute. There's lots going on with the TGE coming up. So I figured I'd like to get back into it. And this time around, we're doing a PvP tutorial. So PvP 101. If you're sick and tired of being on the bottom end of the leaderboard after a deathmatch or team deathmatch, then you're in the right place. Now, my intention for this video was kind of to try and bridge the gap between some of the more experienced shooters and some of the newer players. And we're going to be talking about all of the ammo types in Nifty Island and what they do. Simple things like how to shoot, how to dodge, how to sprint, how to slash, how to deflect, all sorts of bits and pieces like that. And hopefully get you in a far better position you were when you started playing the game. So without further ado, let's get into it. And first off, I want to talk about when you are moving. So when you're running around on the battlefield, if you've got your gun out, you move far slower than when you have your sword out. So realistically, what you want to be trying to do is switching to your sword. You can press Q to do that, and that's how you want to get about the battlefield. Another bonus of switching to sword mode is you're going to increase your field of view, as you can see here. So you'll be able to increase what you can see on the left and right hand side and the top of your screen. So it gives you more chance to spot your enemies there. When I'm referencing keybinds, it's for a PC, so they may be different for you if you're using a console, but you can check that if you just press escape and go to the controls menu. As you can see here, if you sprint, you hold shift and sprint, that's how you move faster. But if you use what's called your crouch key, your crouch ability, which is usually mapped to C when you first start the game, you generate this little bit of dust. And when you do that, you want to press spacebar and jump, and that will help you with jump and slide. And that gives you far faster movement than you typically have. Now, your roll ability is mapped to control, I believe. Usually I've got mine mapped to my mouse button. You can roll on the ground, or you can roll up in the air after you jump. And you use this to get a little second of invulnerability to dodge bullets or dodge sword swings. And also another way to get a little bit extra in your jump too. So you can trick people by doing a jump, jump, roll, or a jump, roll, jump, and try and get them guessing when you're not going to be invulnerable. It's a good way to take advantage of that ability there. Now to shoot, it's just left mouse button to simply shoot, or you can zoom in and holding right mouse button and shoot as well for a little bit more control and faster fire rate. Then the sword swing is similar. You've got Q to switch over to sword, then you just use left mouse button to take a swing, and a standard swing will take 10 energy at a time. Or you can hold down left mouse button and do a more powered slash. And if you combine a couple of powered slash together, then you build up your damage over time and you do more damage with each swing. The final swing, the fourth one in the row, is going to deal about 100 damage, or it will deal 100 damage. So it's an easy way to execute an enemy from 100 to 0. On the right-hand side of the player UI, when you pick up multiple types of ammo, you can see that each bit of ammo has a corresponding number. So if you hold that number down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10, then that is how you drop your ammo. It's pretty hard to do, but with a bit of practice, you won't get killed every time that you do it. So see how you go with that. When you want a shield, you hold right mouse button, and that's going to deplete your energy, but you can also use it to deflect ammunition onto your opponents. You get about 8 seconds of total shield time, and you just got to bear that in mind. Every time you take damage, you're going to have more energy depleted as well. So very effective way to survive long against enemies. A really important thing to keep in mind when you're using the shield is you want to be aiming the reticle always at the player. So always tracking the player that you're focusing on with the reticle, whether you're shooting at them or whether you're defending against them, because that way you can make sure you're either hitting them when you're shooting or deflecting straight onto them. Now, I've got a bit of a speed boost here, but here's an example of using the shield while you're jumping and also doing the slide jump as well. So this is what you'll see a lot of really advanced players doing because they're trying to maintain that shield for whole periods of time. Now, next up we have the SMG bullets. They are a rapid fire rate. They deal 10 damage, and you want to really use them when you're up close with enemies. Okay, so if you get them into a tight tunnel like I have here, just quickly throw a few SMG bullets out and they should reach the target pretty quickly. When you're using them in the open and trying to reach your target from a far distance, then it's not going to be really effective. Now, the bounce bullets are relatively medium projectile speed, and they deal 30 damage and ricochet off of everything around the map. And hey, bounce has been pretty controversial over the past couple of months, but you want to use them in a space like this. When you're in a room like this and they can bounce all over the room, and you know, your enemies don't really stand a chance when that's the case. So I would avoid using them over long distances because of how slow moving the projectile is, but when you're up nice and close, that's when you really want to do it. Now, the boom bullets, otherwise known as rockets, they're a little bit different to everything else. They have varying damage. So they do AoE, which is area effect damage. A direct hit will do 60 damage, then it's about 34 damage, and then 18 damage, depending on how far away the enemy is at. You can use them to clear boxes. When people are using boxes, it's probably the most effective way to do that. But be mindful if you hit something that's close enough to you to do damage to you, because you can, in fact, kill yourself while you're doing it as well. Similar to the bounce bullets, you really don't want to use these when your enemy is either up in the sky like this or far enough away, because the projectiles are super slow and you're probably not going to hit them. When you're coming at an enemy from above, like this situation, I've used a stun bullet to set up here, then you can see I'm not really even targeting the player. I'm targeting where the player is going to land. So that's an important one to keep in mind. Now, ultra in name, ultra in nature. The ultra bullet is your snipe in Nifty Island. So it's going to deal 100 damage on a successful hit. You can use it up close or far away if you like. You're going to get a more effective snipe if you're zooming in when you use it as well. There are a variety of ways that you can counter a snipe if you like. Really, deflecting with a shield is your best bet. It's going to take your shield though from 100 to 0 pretty quickly, but as long as you maintain 10 stamina so that you can have your shield active most of the time, then this is how you're going to win in the ultra only matches. Stun bullets, on the other hand, they deal 20 damage off the bat. Obviously don't do anything on a target dummy, but if you cast it on the ground, you're going to hit yourself. It will stun you for about 2 seconds. You can see here a really good follow-up to a stun bullet is an ultra bullet. It really works quite well. You can also stun multiple targets. Both of the players there got hit by that, and yeah, I think it's a really good setup, really good CC, which is crowd control mechanism there. The lifesteal bullet, on the other hand, it does 20 damage. It's actually got a pretty fast fire rate as well. When you find yourself that in a position where you're trading with an enemy, then I recommend using these if you've got them as well. Ultimately, they're going to heal you for half the damage that you deal. So when you're dealing 20 damage, you're going to be healed for 10 of that damage when you use this bullet. It's a really good way to get yourself out of trouble and probably one of the most effective bullets in the game. Pretty OP. Now, the block bullets or the box bullets, now they do exactly what you can see right here. They build a 1x1 square box or 1.5 by 1.5 square box, and you can use them to build towers or you can build bridges, and they're probably the most underutilized bullets in the game. You can see here I use them to build up against an enemy to get the high ground, then also use that to sort of dodge around and get an idea of where the enemy is too. I'd like to see these used a little bit more in matches, but Yeah, I think it just takes a little bit more extra effort, and in a match full of lots of players, you'll find yourself probably dying before you can use them effectively. Here, just using them as a simple block, and then find that my opponent stuns himself, and then I can kind of capitalize on that there too. So, yeah, lots of fun, and looking forward to see how you guys go about using them in Nifty. Have some fun with it. And next up, we have the slow bullets. So they're got a pretty fast projectile speed. They only deal 10 damage, so they're not the most effective for killing people. But when you get hit by them, or when they hit an opponent, they will slow their movement speed and their turn speed. And as you can see, they basically get suspended in the position that they're in. So really good way to subdue your enemy. And if you even just tag them with a couple, it's a really good way to slow them down so you can follow up with something else. Now, the heal bullet kind of speaks for itself. It gets far little use compared to everything else. It does 25 damage, has a relatively slow fire rate, but if you shoot it at an ally, then you're going to heal your ally for 25 health. Now, what we have in front of us is pretty self-explanatory. We have the health, the shield, and the energy pack. So each of these 3 packs will give you, the health will give you 50 health, the shield will give you 25 shield, which acts as an additional barrier above your health, and then the energy pack gives you 80 energy. I believe it's about 80 energy. So you want to look out for these when you're on the battlefield. When you've been swinging your sword too much, or you've been depleted from shielding too much, grab yourself some energy, and yeah, that should definitely help you out. Now, lastly, we have the old reliable, the basic bullet, or the default bullet, which is pretty much what you start with in every game, unless it's been changed. It's got a really quick projectile speed and fire rate, and it does 15 damage. You're going to find these all over the map, and you're going to get very used to using them. So yeah, there's not really too much else to say about those aside from, get familiar with it because it's pretty common around the place. But there's obviously a lot to learn over the course of that video. But to bring it all together, I think it's just really important to remember that whenever you're not shooting, switch over to your sword mode with Q, and constantly try and shield if you can. When you're on the move, use your slide jump to make sure that you're moving faster than anybody else, and utilize all of the ammo types. If you're playing a standard deathmatch, then make sure you utilize everything in the circumstance that gives it the best ability to help you out. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody improve their skill, and hopefully see lots of you out there on the battleground. So thanks again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video. Hit me up if you have any questions. Cheers.